Okay. I'm okay. Try to something to work here. Okay, I am. Okay, so I'm. Okay, so I am live. Gonna wait until. Okay, so I'm. Okay, so I am live. Gonna wait until. Okay. Look at 22 people. Okay, so I'm glad I opened this up early because there. Okay, so I am live. Gonna wait until. Okay. Oh, that's okay. Well, that's 22 not good. People. Okay. Mute that. Okay, I think I have this set up and working. I'm just gonna. We're like 8 minutes early, which is I'm glad because there were some technical issues. Oh, first time doing one of these on my own. It's weird. I'm kind of talking to myself. Looks like we've settled around 22 people. There's some people off the list. Like I don't. There's some of the new people. Like don't see Arabica. Okay, we'll see how this goes. Okay, I see 4 viewers now. If someone could type something in chat, just so I can confirm that people can actually hear me, and I'm not just talking to myself. That would be that would be great. Yeah, usually Peacock's like the play-by-play, and I'm more like the color, which is to say the Peacock like remembers what to do, and I just kind of like answer when I'm asked questions. So this is gonna be an experience. Hi, Magma. It's good to know that someone is listening to me. Isn't that all we want in the world, is for someone to be listening? Also, I can't see chat and the deck list at the same time, so I'm going to try to remember to go back and look at chat after each deck list. But if I'm not answering your questions while I'm looking at a deck list, that would be why. And I should do it. Okay. Yes. Wait, no, wait. Technology is happening. Can I? Oh, I can see chat and the deck list at the same time. We've discovered technology. Nope, wait, never mind. We can't. I'm lying. Okay. We're still. Oh, stasis is in. So that's 23, I believe. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're trying things. No, I don't want one of those. Uh, No, I don't want a tutorial YouTube video. Hi, Stasis. Well, don't say you're the last to submit, Stasis. There could be someone else. I don't see I don't think I see Raboka. I don't, and I think some others might also be missing. No, that does not work. Okay. Okay. Wait. First time trying to do things like this. Nope, that does not work. Okay. Yep. I scribble. We are Decklists are still being revealed. Oh, cool. It's only Windows 11. Okay. I'm just gonna have to bring up the chat manually when I need it. Okay. It's fine. Okay, it's 10. It's 10 sharp. We have matchups. There is a bye. Decklists are in. Okay. Welcome everyone to Grand Prix 7 Toll Square. That's a location on Nylon, if you weren't familiar. This is the second GP of the Exalts of Twiltree season. The meta was wide open last GP, um, with I think like one duplicate deck, although that deck did in fact win. Some minor nerfs coming into this season, to Golems, to Ozen's Blessing, to a couple other things that escape me at this exact moment. Uh, but yeah, let's get into those decks. Okay, starting with. Let me see if I can pop this over here. Okay, Crush Castle is back and is playing Blue Red Decoy again. We love Crush Castle. Most consistent GP attendance. Of... Oh right, yes, Extraction Mission. Yes, Extraction Mission died for for Goober's sins. So yes, Crush is on for Gossamer Dreamer. That's the 2 mana 1/2 flying decoy. And is in curve order. Yep, and 3 Ambassador for 4 Ambassador of Enunciation. That's a 3 mana decoy guy. It's a 1/4 that punishes them for blocking your creatures. 3 Ardor. That's good with the decoy tokens. Makes them up to 2/2s. Fluttering Sun doubles all your is a 4 mana 4/4 flyer. Doubles all your decoy tokens and lets you sack them to give your fairies hexproof. Although they don't they don't usually survive past the end of your turn, so it's kind of hexproof on your turn only. And Silken Texture, the other 4-drop that cares about decoy, basically gives all of your fairies and illusions +1/+0. And so it can attack for a good 5 damage on its own. So that's our creature suite. A little top heavy with like 1 2-drop, 1 3-drop, and then 3 4-drops, like 9 total copies of 4-drops. 4 Doctrine of Cleansing Flames as the raise the alarm of choice. 4 Coordinated Shot as the burn of choice. Makes a ton of sense with the decoys. Lets you sack the decoy tokens. 4 more Flags on High. Kind of works with more token makers. 4 Sunny Day. And that does work with decoy. You can stack the trigger so you get the decoy token, and then you Sunny Day. And for Trickery, newly buffed Trickery, I actually assumed that the previous behavior of Trickery was fully intentional. Like it made tokens that couldn't attack, that weren't attacking, but that's okay because it lets them survive to the next turn. But no, they were actually meant to be attacking the whole time. Basically, gives your creatures additional instances of decoy and lets you keep around your decoys for extra turns. So, um, yeah, this is very similar to a deck Crush bought last time. 4 Gilded Court in the mana base and no Misty Peak. So no Shocklands, just Gilded Court for some reason. Hi, Lih. Sideboard has 3 Sistral Charm, 3 Unravel Thoughts, 3 Worm Shot. I haven't seen this in a while. 3 Boiling Storm. We got a Weather in the main deck, and 3 Faces of the Faceless. This deck has no graveyard synergy at all, so it can play the symmetrical graveyard hate of Faces. Yeah, Crush is always brewing something. This deck looks maybe not quite as like streamlined and polished as like the real meta dangers we've seen, but this seems like I remember the last one. I think even more 4-drop heavy. Some 4-drops have been trimmed. Some more Raise the Alarms have been added. There's some coordinated shots in here. There's a little bit of interaction. Might go the distance. Who knows? I can go slightly faster, I think, than Peacock usually goes because my time is not unlimited. Actually, my deck is next. I submitted this like yesterday. I thought there would be more decks in by then. So yeah, I have a resolution this month. I'm done like grinding super hard. I wanted the 4 in a row, but I didn't get it. So I am now just having fun, playing what I want to play. You can't see it in these deck lists, but there's like every single card in here that has multiple versions. I'm playing every single possible version. This is Return of the Queen. It is red-green aggro, so just like Husk Warrior Acolyte, ramp into Reaper of Blossoms, Fabricated Anomaly, Redeemer of Hollowed Flesh, just like big threats. Yen Slope Skidder is a great card, where it kind of works with Reaper of Blossoms, gives you additional land drops. Aurora Buffer Exec also gives you tons of landfall triggers for Yen Slope Skidder. That's cool. The normal like red-green ramp aggro removal suite of 4 terminal impact for Abominable Avalanche, 2 Harvest Time. I like Harvest Time, and with Reaper of Blossoms milling and Fabricant not only discarding, it's nice to have something good to discard. 3 Shigana Manor Burns. Anyways, this is kind of like a red-green Survivor deck, but instead of Survivor, I have Spore Spawning. This is a card I've tried up very briefly, and I've liked what I've seen. It's kind of like a red-green aggro deck, that's plan A, and then it can also have a kind of ramp into terminal impact plan, that's plan B, but it also has Spore Spawning. You discard this to Fabricate Anomaly, you mill it with Reaper of Blossoms, you discard it with Shigana Manor Burns, and then you flashback it for 4 mana, and you make like 7 or 10 1/1s. It's not hard to make an enormous number of 1/1s off of Spore Spawning. Um, because this is an Aurora deck, the mana base is heavily green slanted, only 1 mountain, otherwise 8 forests, and a whole bunch of duels, including 2 Ardent Rise, which is good for Roar, and also good with the general kind of ramping that we're doing. Gives us mana sinks in our land, same reason there's 2 Meandering Path in there, and only 1 Temple of Origins. I have not tested out this deck a lot. Lih had a deck that was kind of like this, but it was kind of deeper into the Spore Spawning Aurora thing. All Who Wander had a deck that was kind of like this. It didn't have Spore Spawning. Instead, it just had Morbid Bloomer as kind of the value card of choice. It's kind of like splitting the difference. I'm interested to see how this goes, but I'm excited to find out. Sideboard has 4 Cash Thrasher in case the Spore Spawning plane doesn't work. Can bring in this as just a good aggro threat. Hungry Blob for Lih, Crumbling Tower for Control, Sensor Tablet for Reanimator, and Advance of Fire and Faith for EO. Kilgaris. Kilgaris is gonna gamble. Kilgaris is gambling with Radiant Devotee. Angel spells you cast without Convoke have Convoke, but only soldiers can be tapped to convoke those spells. And whenever angels you control attack, untouchable soldiers control. This is a deck like Peacock was high on earlier on. This looked like the red-white version of the deck. The idea is if you draw Radiant Devotee, you can play Radiant Devotee, and you could immediately tap it to convoke an Ambitious Angel. Guess what? That's also a soldier. So you could tap that to convoke out, I don't know, a, another Ambitious Angel, and then you could start getting down Blessed Line Wardens, which also can convoke out your angels and give them Ward 1. Uh, Resolute Reinforcements makes 2 soldiers. Ignited Soul is a soldier. Uh, then you can start playing giant angels like Containment Seraph and Boundlight Seraph and Aegis of Grace way earlier than you're supposed to by using Radiant Devotee. I think earlier versions of this had the 5 mana angel too. Looks like that's been cut. We also have Cassia the Carefree, which can Ignited Soul is in fact a soldier stasis. What can't this card do? Are they in the GP? Oh, they're not in the GP. Ignited Soul cannot submit a deck to the GP is trying to what they can't do. Uh, Cassia can buff up all your little dorky 1/1s, or can copy the enter trigger on Resolute Reinforcements, Containment Seraph. I guess those two. It's most. I guess it seems like it's mostly for the -3 and the -1 then. Terminal Impact. We are red for exactly Terminal Impact, which I think is hilarious. 22 land Terminal Impact deck. It's a really good card. And 4 Consume the Divine. Love it. Turn the Ambitious Angels and Ignited Souls into real threats. Yeah. From what I've heard, when this deck draws Radiant Devotee and a bunch of angels and soldiers and angel soldiers, it just kind of goes off and silly things happen. When it doesn't draw Radiant Devotee, you place like a less good white-red aggro deck, but still capable of doing things. Sideboard's got 1 more Containment Seraph, 2 Shock, mission completed version, 2 Swift, 3 Thrift Reproach. Ooh, haven't seen Swift Reproach in a long time, but it hits battles now, so it might be worth considering. Golden Bloom of the Silenced for not sure. Crucible of Burning Sun for graveyards. Once again, no graveyard synergy main deck. Can play the symmetrical one. Crucible's really impressed me. The Scry one especially. It's just lovely to see. And Advance of Fire and Faith. I think Advance of Fire and Faith is becoming like one of the standard sideboard cards to the point where like token decks are beginning to, I think, adapt and not get themselves as vulnerable to Advance of Fire and Faith. Volt Switch 70 is telling us that college is hard, so they're bringing this again. This again being the. Oh no! Wait, this is different. I don't recall. I don't think there were any opulent Rough Riders last month, so this is something slightly different than last time. This is blue black angler, blue black angler. Makes sense. We are on 4 Catabolist and 4 Riselings. We really want cards to leave our graveyard. Scuttling Cicada is an excellent way of doing that. I've seriously never seen Opulent Rough Rider cast before. That does not remove cards from your graveyard, but it kind of surveils one and can draw cards sometimes. Yes, Traumatic Recollection. It can mill cards for Angler of the Crushing Sea. That surely justifies playing the 2-mana sorcery version and also the other 2-mana sorcery removal spell in Final Fate. And then your standard Erase from Existence, Over Assault, and Discern. So, boy, this is 19 spells in the Spellslinger deck. It's a little light. And ways to trigger Catabolist / Riseling is Other Rivaling, Scuttling Cicada, Flashback Discern, and Flashback Final Fate. Those last 2 being a little expensive for Catabolist. 5 mana total. Mana base has your normal Temple of Origins, Primal Fissure, no Enigmatic Fen, so none of the Shock land, only the fast lands. Yeah. Hi, Leah. Leah, you might be like a little behind on the recording. And 4 Chasm of the Silent Covenant. This is a card that I have been excited to see if it could find a home. 4 of them is quite ambitious. 1 Lost and Found even, so you find an island more reliably. But yeah, it's a really good creature land. It's just blue black. 2 more Opulent Rough Riders in the sideboard. I'd love to know what matchup those are for. Final Fate for removal, Go Blank for graveyards, Failed Gateway for aggro, and Trauma Spike for combo. Okay, yeah, Angler of the Crushing Sea is like, I mean, it's a shame we never got pre-nerf Angler of the Crushing Sea, the one that could like flashback Black Chronicle on turn 4. That would have been hilarious. Unfortunately, you can't do that. Instead, we have to settle for this one, which is actually still pretty cool. You chant this more often than I thought you would. Just like your spare blue mana, just mill yourself for 3. And then you get to uh, cast Angler um, for cheap in the late game. Solid idea. Cat and Tree, those things you find in Abor's deck box, and also your cat is there. I feel like this is a reference to a previous Cat and Tree deck name. This is Red White Aggro. Yep, it's got Ignited Soul. It's got Kitsune Matriarch. It's got. Come on, you had the promos for Ignited Soul and Kitsune Matriarch, but it's not the promo Calamity Cat. Oh, it's the shiny Calamity Cat. That's why. Okay, I forgive you. We got Kieran of Boons. Peacock, it may not be in this GP, but Kieran of Boons will be representing them. Cat and Tree, you have a lot to live up to. Also, Fabricated Anomaly to put the counters on the Kieran of Boons. Calamity Cat to put the counters on the Kieran of, on the thing for Kieran of Boons. Spirit Realm Phoenix, Ardor. Meanwhile, 4 Ruins Awaken, 2 Ragtag Squad, 4 Doctrine of Cleansing Flames as the other. Um, yeah, this is. Yeah, I guess the other option is Flags on High. Shows Doctrine of Cleansing over Flags on High. And once again, 4 Consume the Divine. Um, yeah, this is just. I'm maybe slightly skeptical of this Kieran of Boons. I guess we have Consume the Divine, Anomaly, and Cat as ways to put on counters. But I don't know. I've underestimated cards like this before. Yeah, this just seems like just straightforward red, white, good cards. It's red and white and it plays good cards. That's the idea. No fanciness at all. There's no foreign encounter in this deck. Oh, the battle raised the alarm. That's a really good one that I'm surprised no one is playing. Um, what's it called? Advance of the Sainted March. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I sniped from 2 different people in the Roto draft. It was sweet. Um, Yeah, this is like red white good cards. Slight token scene with the Ardor and the Matriarch, slight counter scene with the Kieran of Boons, and the Consume the Divine, but mostly just slight token scene with the all the Raise the Alarms and once again the Ardor. But mostly just these are some of the best red white aggro cards available. Mono base is 22 lands, including every single dual land you can play, and 5 plains and 1 mountain. Sideboard's got Looming Psyhawk. Great, great card. Honestly, I think Looming Psyhawk is my preferred anti-aggro 3-drop over Advance of Fire and Faith if I'm able to play both, so I approve of this choice. Shock for Husk Forgers, Sanctum Repression for general permanence, also, not bad to bounce like, I don't know, I guess there's not any good things to bounce in this deck, but sometimes you could do it if you need to hit something big. Sanctum has just impressed me just as the base mode, by the way. Just 2 mana enchantment, exile any permanent mana values 3 or less. That's a good card. You don't need the Reprieve. The Reprieve is just upside. And Sensor Tablet. Why Sensor Tablet over the other Graveyard Hate artifacts? I guess just wants the late game card draw option. Fair enough. Hi, Prov. Hey, someone's playing Kieran of Boons, Prov. Are you proud? I'm proud. I hope it goes well. Okay, Split Moon. It's only. I know we're all sad to say goodbye to old, but Split Moon. By the way, how fast am I going through these? It's been 15 minutes, and this is deck number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's what, a quarter of the way there. Okay, this might be an hour-long stream, which is it's fine by me. I'm okay like going through this a little bit faster. What on earth is going on with this mana base split? Sanctum is the best removal spell in the format, and it's not particularly close. I would say it is the best removal spell in the format, but it's close with Terminal Impact. It's close with Terminal Impact and Abominable Avalanche. Because those can hit face. I get value. So this is creatureless ties to the machine. We are black, red, colorless. Split is repping. It's gonna be before you know it. It's gonna be what? It's gonna be May, and it's gonna be no more Cyberos. So yeah, so Split is getting things done with, of course, the reason to be colorless. For Ziv Replisparked. And we also have 4 times to the machine, which is not as awful as it used to be, but it's still not as terrifying as it used to be, but still very powerful. if you have the non-land permanents to chuck to it. So what non-land permanents are we chucking to our ties to the machine? Spare Advance of the Umbral Bargains that we've already gotten the um the enter trigger off of. Spare Shigana Manor Burns, we already got the treasure off of. Magma Flows if we have to. Stella's Journal. Wow, four of Stella's Journal. That's why the mono base looks like that. Okay, so that's how we're drawing cards. We're a super low curve deck, except for four Rain of Blight, four Ziv Replispark, four. Okay, we're not actually that low curve of a deck, but we're gonna try to dump our hand anyways, so we can play a cheap Stella's Journal and draw cards over and over again. This is a sweet list. Split cooks the wildest looking decks. One main deck Golden Bloom was a silenced. Wow. Yeah, I got no idea what that's for. Main deck Duress too. Love main deck Duress. I mean, look at this. Look at this like red white aggro deck that happens to be playing 14 hits for Duress. Like main deck Duress is great. Um, yeah, this like black red controls. It also has some game with like late game Tive and Terminal Impact and Ziv and Stella's Journal. That's a wild thing. I'm just gonna go with mono base. Colas Core makes sense. Primal Fissure, Erosive Path, Colas Peak, Sanguine Palace, Temple of Origins, Protean Protean Bows. Cool. Wastes, Mountain Swamp, Rumbling Door. Nice. Haven of the Wild Ones. Haven of the Wild Ones. Nice. Yeah, this card is like way better than it looks. Like, especially, like, I don't know if anyone brought the red 1/1 that gets +1/+1 whenever a ruin you control with a spell charge. That thing can grow like comically fast with Haven of the Wild Ones. Not really what it's in this deck for. It's just here this deck made a colorless land that can also filter. And one heap Ludicon. Yeah. Split has been cooking with these cards for a nice long time, so excited to see where this goes. Yay, Haven of the Wild Ones. Thank yes, Magma. You were the one who I saw cooking with this card before. 4 Inner Rings Pupil in the sideboard. Um, I'm assuming 4 matchups for Ties and Machine is not as good, so you want a different 4-drop. Forget Their Names for combo / graveyard hate. Duress. Surge of Bitter Breath. What the heck is this card? 5 mana, kills all the tokens, or removes all the counters. Cool! I guess you could play this as your. I guess this is mostly like token hate. It's token hate for the aggro decks. If you don't want to play failed gateway, I guess first time seeing this card. Two. Let me just do quick math. 2 copies in 48 decks, so roughly like 1 copy per 25 decks. 1 copy per 25 decks. That's what 0.04 copy. Yeah, this is now officially playable. It has 2 copies across like the 2 months where it was legal. I mean, this is officially a playable card according to Escape from Limbo. Once I update it. Uh, oh, it removes counters from battles. I forgot it also removed counters from battles. Yay! Sure. And 4 archival storage makes sense. I love. Have you seen like 4? We have seen, by the way, Sensor Tablet, Faces of the Facelet, Sensor Tablet again, and Archival Storage. No one agrees which of the symmetrical Graveyard Hate artifacts you should be playing. I'm on Crucible. And Crucible, we saw Crucible the Burning Sun as well. I think that's the best one. Okay, Split. Yep, it's fun for Split to go represent what really makes the real spirit of Cyber which is being miserable to people. You can remove all the lore counters from God of Manor Burns, so you get the treasure next turn instead of whatever you were going to get. That's great. When the synergy here is just off the charts. Ricky Rister is too busy with field tests. That is true. Field test has been great. This is the largest field test of all time. For those of you who don't know field test, it is a thrice yearly constructed playtesting event in the Gray server. Um, uh, it's like Arrows and the Web went through it. Tons of Revolution Destined sets go through it. It's a great time. There's like 28 sets in it this time. That's true. You could remove all the counters from Stella's journal. Oh my god, think of the synergy. Anyways, Ricky has, I believe, fan Toho, like the Toho fan characters. Uh, in field test, and is too busy with that to build a new deck, and so just going to run back the deck that Ricky was submitted last minute to the last GP and one whiff. So this is Ignited Soul, Rooftop Flank, Rough Rider as discard outlets for Privilege Escalation and for Reclaim the Fallen and Enduring the Loyalty. So this is Black Red mid range with also Black Red Reanimator as a backup plan. Terminal Impact, of course. Final Fate. Another good thing: discard, Shigata Manor Burns, more discard, more ramp, and Festered Effluvium to spin the slot machine, and sometimes you mill like 2 lands and Reclaim the Fallen and win the game on the spot. Mana base is normal with only one Primal Fissure. Only one Primal Fissure. I guess this is. I'm surprised. This is a Reclaim the Fallen deck. This is a Final Fate deck. You want triple black, and yet this has 8 mountains in it. So it's what? That's 17 black sources in a 25 land deck. 17 black sources. That's for triple black. I'd want like 19 black sources at least, maybe 20. A little weird there. You could have played more Primal Fissures. Free. Sideboard has, as last time, the I don't want to be Reanimator anymore sideboard plan. Take it all to Reclaim the Fallen, Enduring Loyalty, Privilege Escalations, put in Exorcist of Errors and Inner Range People. And maybe Crucible Burning Sun to hate out, their Graveyard Plan. There's also Duress. Always good to have access to Duress. Whiffle is on Battle Control! We love battle control. This is. I have not have the guts to bring this to a GP yet, but battle control is my favorite Exalted Tree archetype. Creatureless or near creatureless battle deck. Oh, that still says other. Whoops, Cajun. It still says other. You gotta fix that. Someone tell Cajun. So yeah, we have Path of Scales. Man, I love Path of Scales. I love Cumberstone. I love that there's a playable Cumberstone in Rev right now. With a great battle to defeat. Clash at Mistrit Vale. That's another battle you love to defeat. Clash at Orus Cross. Board wipe that also turns into a battle you'd love to defeat. Guess what? All of these, you only got to do 2 damage to them to get their first ability, such as with this Shock. Or with this Offset Demon, I guess. Or you could fully defeat any of these battles with an electronic countermeasures, and 2 of them also corrupt electronic countermeasures. Deafening Clarion, because this is a control deck and you need the sweeper. Shigana Manor Burns to ramp into these somewhat pricey cards. And Offset Demon. Also a great way to beat down battles and a very resilient threat. Mana base has 4 Silent Lakefront. Yeah, I think this is Scribble's build, by the way. The 4 Silent Lakefront tells me this is either exactly Scribble's build or it's based on Scribble's build. Also, 1 Crucible of Bound Flame. The 2 planes, that's almost always tapped. That's just, I guess 2 flames, 4 Silent Lakefront. Slightly less often, always tapped. So yeah, I guess like tons of tap lands. Like Silent Lakefront, Gilded Court, Meteoric Facade, and Crucible as all turn 1 tap lands. It just makes sense because there's not really that many turn 1 or 2 plays in this deck. Good to see that there's a control deck. Living, breathing. I think this like broke a pretty decent performance last month. I'm excited to see it do something this month. Cyborg got Repulsion Field for more instant sorceries. Swift Approach as removal. Terminal Impact, gotta have Terminal Impact. Faces the Faceless as Graveyard Hate. Advances a Quiet Moon as more kind of generic removal. And the last passive scale, I presume, for like control mirrors. Yeah, 26 lands. Love to see people play in 26 lands. Warms my heart to see the high land counts. Okay. Magma Dragon is on Swablu Seas. Reloaded. It's the sequel to Swablu Seas. Now with Now with Stratus Fledgling, getting some weather. Okay, let's start at the top. We've got melons. Okay, this is a blue-white weather deck. We got a melon. We got Tenki. Oh right, Tenki still does something. Tenki is a 2-mana 1/1 that acclimates, and you can't sacrifice the weathers. Cool. White Cliff Pilgrim, that's a cool card with weathers. Squall Runner Duo. Oh, Squall Runner Duo. We love Squall Runner Duo. This can wander our Tenki and our. Well, not White Cliff, it doesn't do anything. It can wander itself. It can wander Stratus Fledgling. Yeah. It can wander Rough Rider. Oh, yes, Squall Runner Rough Rider. That's a great combo. And we got Weather Elemental. Um, yeah, this is like Magma Dragon has somehow brought gotta be five different Stratus Fledgling decks over the course of this card's tenure in the format. Impressive how many different ways Magma Dragon has found to cook this bird. Um, oh, Duo, yes. When Duo went Infinite with Lightning Warmonger, that was silly. Plasma Strike as our Plasma Strike and Sanctum as removal. And Futurist Ideal. Love to see Futurist Ideal. Yeah, we got some enchantments, you know. We got the Weathers. We got the Pledge off Melon. Okay, that's all we got. And we got Sanctuary Repression. That's a decent number of enchantments. That's a reason to play Futurist Ideal over. I guess your other option would be Casus Belly. Cool. So yeah, like just this is not like we do have two Primordial Seeds because this seems like less like the combo version and more like just the tempo version. Sea Breeze and Rain Dance also in the sideboard as weathers to get just four weathers. Um, four negates in the sideboard, four Looming Psyhawk, Golden Bloom, and two Crucibles. So just normal sideboard stuff. Mono base is normal, but three Crumbling Ruin. Yeah, I actually haven't seen much Crumbling Ruin. This card seems sweet. And particularly good if people are going to be bringing all of these creature lands, and especially the Heirs in the Weft creature lands, which take so much mana to turn on. Cool beans. PTM is on Solidarity. This is wow, 18 lands, including 4 Primal Fissures and 13 Mountains. So the Primal Fissure gets exactly Mountain, just for the deck fixing. PTM is cooking again with his 18 land deck that contains 4 Arid Outriders, 4 oh my god, Koi Tail Mares, 4 Rage Cloak Shifters, and 4 Proclaimer of the Boon. That's just the 1-drops. Along with 4 Scorching Gecko. Sorry, we're still in the 1-drops. 4 Scorching Gecko, 4. Wow, that is. What is that? 16, 20, 23 1-drops in this deck. No, wait, there's 4 Sparks of Revolution. Make that 24 1-drops. 4 Cash Thrasher, that's a good card when you're cashing 1-drops. 4 Bleeding Out, 4 Edgeland Pledge, which we are never paying for any mode except for the red one, and 3 Gift of Inspiration. Ooh, so just like all 1-drops all the time, and I think if we get 3 different creatures attacking, we are pretty likely to get Solidarity. Human Rogues, yeah, there's like Human Scout, Human Rogues, yeah, 27 1-drops, ridiculous. Human Scout, Human Rogue, that's the only uh, overlap I can see. Everything else is unique types. Yeah, PTM, only PTM builds decks like this. I don't know if it's only because PTM knows how, or only PTM knows how to pilot them. I can never get these things to work, but PTM built it, and I'm sure it's going to do something. PTM might actually make a Solidarity token using the Solidarity mechanic, which I've been playing this format for a year, and I don't know if I've actually seen that happen. Sideboard's got Undara of Fervor and Flame. How are we triggering this? We're triggering with Doctrine of Cleansing Flames, of course, because we side into kind of a token thing, it looks like. We can also use Seed of the Golden Sun to copy one of our creatures and make a token with haste. And we've got Fabricated Anomalies in the sideboard in case we want to go a little bigger. Temperamental Chick. Card popped off in the Brawl GP. Okay. I love the 4 Primal Fissures. We just don't want to draw too many mountains. PTM is in chat, is telling us Fissure. I don't see any Fissures in this deck. Fissure is the blue-red card. That's Prolific Fissure. I don't think you can cast that PTM. You don't have any blue sources. Ah, yes, Sparks and Gift and Proclaimer all do in fact trigger Undara, which is a cool card. There's various like tokenish aggro things. I should consider this for Roto Draft actually. Um, that have been floating around, but Undara is just not quite done it. Oh, Fissure, not Fisher. Oh yeah. That's why. That's yeah. Fissure on turn 3, obviously, because this deck really does not want to draw land number 4. Doesn't even super want to draw land number 3. Epid is on green black mid range. Kumrak's green black range. No, Epid's green black mid range. Hi. Oh, this is. Oh yeah, Vardo Scalpel. This is Kumrak's. This is Kumrak's list. Um, only Kumrak plays Vardo Scalpel. Huskforger Acolyte. Rooftop Slink. So Huskforger Acolyte. 1/1 1/1. Taps for colorless. Our ramp spell of choice. Rooftop Slink. Tears apart both players' hands. Vardo Scalpel. 1/1 2/2 menace. But when it attacks, it deals 2 damage to you. 4 exorcistive errors, just excellent 2-drop. 2 program pursuer, 2 program pursuer, 3 Vardo Ravelon, 3 enemy people, and 3 lifehacker as the full suite of creatures that generate a card worth of value whenever they attack. So the plan here is we're going to ramp into these creatures. We're going to exorcise to take removal spells that could answer these creatures. We're going to use Rooftop Slink to discard so we're both low on resources, and we're going to draw back up with these creatures. And then once these are in play and uncontested, when we clear our opponent's stuff with Sovereign's Execution and Revivified Wrath and maybe Chronicle of Extinction, then we will be able to grind out value with these guys. Kumrak has been polishing this deck for a long time. This deck survived the loss of bias. It is now, and it's honed to a fine point. Main deck Duress also. Love main deck Duress. Also the one of Gelsis, which was in Kumrak's last month build, I think. Mono base is normal, with of course 2 Heap Ludicon, 2 Gallowsprout Timber as the creature lands. Kumrak always been a big advocate of Heap Ludicon in non-mono black decks. Yeah, this Vardo Scalpel thing, I still don't really see the vision on it, but apparently Kumrak believes in it. I think it blocks well, is the idea. Sideboard has Hungry Blob for artifacts and enchantments, Downlink Overload for small creatures, Duress for control, Final Fate as more removal, Chronicles for, just kind of does everything, and Crucible the Burning Sun for graveyards. Sweet deck. Indeed. I suspect we will see this deck again later when Kumrak submits it. All Who Wander is on a few of their favorite things. This is a. Oh, yeah, this is the deck that I ripped off. This is Red Green Beatdown. Huskforger Acolyte adds the ramp. Also, Reaper of Blossoms fills graveyard, gets you lands. Morbid Bloomer. This is a very low card deck. Yeah, this is a very low card deck. The only card that costs more than 3 is possibly Terminal Impact. So Morbid Bloomer is how we're going to keep grinding in the late game, along with Cash Thrasher, cashing cards, getting us more card advantage. This deck is weird in that it actually ramps a decent amount. It's got Huskforger Acolyte, Reaper of Blossoms, Shigana Manor Burns. So it actually can get to 5-6 mana decently often, but the curve ends at 3. So you can actually play the stuff you cashed off Cash Thrasher decently often. Also, you can always discard excess lands to Fabricate Anomaly, and Redeemer is just an excellent standalone threat in a deck full of excellent standalone threats. Terminal Impact, of course, the other thing this deck can do sometimes is ramp up to 6, 7, 8 mana and Terminal Impact them a couple of times. Igneous Visions is great in a deck that curve this low. Abominable Avalanche, little tough to spend 5 mana sometimes, but it's just a great card. And Shigana Manor Burns. 4 of Shigana Manor Burns is a little surprising to me in what is nominally an aggro deck. But I think it generally works just because you really use all parts of the Buffalo here. The Treasure is nice to ramp to big terminal impacts and have Abominable Avalanche turns. The discard can filter you towards better stuff, discard Igneous Visions and such. And the 2 damage is relevant, because this is mostly an aggro deck. Mana base has 2 Ardent Rise. That's also a way to spend excess mana, otherwise normal. And the sideboard is also normal. Hungry Blob for out of enchantments, Rough Rider to gain life, Burn to Obscurity, extra burn for big creatures like Kumrak stuff, Burning Sun, Crucible of the Burning Sun for graveyards, Advance and Fire and Faith for aggro. Yep. I'm actually taking this deck for a spin. Well, slightly different version. I think there weren't Igneous Visions in the version I tested. It can just beat people down. It's a tried and tested strategy. It's kind of like the red-green Survivors decks from last month, except no Survivor. Instead, just the aggro plan. Oh ho ho ho! Caillou 102! Stick it in the socket. You might even enjoy it. This is Fork. This is a Fork deck. I was wondering if someone might someday try to make Fork work. This card can, in theory, do some forked up things. It's a 3-mana subroutine, and when it runs, you copy the next instant sorcery or subroutine you cast. So you play this on turn 3, and next turn you could copy a Panic. You could get two panics, discard two cards, deal four damage to something twice, and start generating double 4/4 errors of menace. You could copy Boro. I don't believe this deck has any way of removing its own Boro. But if you get two Boros, that's probably good enough on its own. You don't need to avoid paying your rent. We got Terminal Impact. Terminal Impact, unfortunately, does not work with Fork because of how copying spells works with Terminal Impact. We got Shigana Manor Burns because this plan is kind of expensive. This can ramp into things. We got Firebolt just as our early removal. Agonizing Remorse. Yeah, I guess we want our hand attack to be spells so we can copy them with Fork. Interesting. Kind of surprised to see this over Duress. Coordinated Shot. The good old zero creature coordinated shot. I guess it's our best lightning strike. If you don't want to commit to double red for bleeding out, Chronicle of Extinction. Boy, that's also a great thing to copy off of Fork. And even Steep the Pactwen. Oh, Steep the Pactwen. So glad to see someone's playing this. I have no idea how good this card is. I have never seen it on the stack. Um, I imagine it's high variance is what it is. Yeah, kind of a interesting like red black mid range deck with hopes to like not do much for the first like three-ish turns of the game and then do something really silly. Might even work. Mana base is normal. I'm seeing, by the way, a lot more paths in this deck. Hi, Zangy. In this GP, like erosive path here, we got meandering path, four forlorn path, four distant path. No paths here, but like like people are four torrid path. People are playing four of path. Um, in a lot of these decks. I feel like when we first got the paths, we were not we didn't see them in most decks. Oh yeah, Coordinate Shot can sack the Boro tokens, and if you run out of tokens before the Boro asks for the payment, I guess you don't have to sack anything. I guess that's how we get around this. Sideboard has Crux to turn off artifacts, Firebolt for cheap interaction, Duress, of course, Dissect Intel, just more copies of Agonizing Remorse in case you need them. Forced Shutdown for enchantments and battles, Rain of Blight for small creatures, but not super small. By the way, I like the adaptation of Rain of Blight, not Failed Gateway, given the number of decks that are like playing a ton of 2/3 specifically to get around the 2 damage sweepers. And Clash of the Shaded Maw. Yeah, we have not. I have not seen this card at all since it was nerfed. Boy, I miss the pre-nerf version. Main deck graveyard hate my beloved. Um, but this is kind of yeah. This is kind of I don't know. This card still looks kind of sad to me. I guess it's fine. It's asymmetrical, I guess is the reason you're playing it. So, I said that there was we would be talking about Kumrak's deck again sometime soon, and that sometime is now. Kumrak is on Golgari midrange. This is the same deck we saw before, but Kumrak is in fact the one who originated it. Once again, ramp, creatures that draw cards when they attack, interaction, Ectris Tavares, and Vardo Scalpel. Yep, I think this looks like exactly the same 75. Stasis saying, I think of Kaiu's deck. This is a very split moon deck. Really? I guess there's just like a bunch of discard in it. I don't know. It feels full of like joy and zest and joie de vivre in a deck in a way I don't strictly associate with Split Moon. But I guess you've known them for longer. No, this is not the same as the other Greenback Main Rouge deck we saw. Epid has made this deck their own by, can you spot the difference? Changing up the sideboard. That's right. Epid put in another copy of what? Okay, Epid has one more Crucible, the Burning Sun. Kumrak has one more Downlink Overload. I think that's the only difference. Oh, yeah, so I was mistaken. I was mistaken. I was calling this Kumrak's deck. This is Epid's deck. Epid has, in fact, put their unique stamp on it with the 4 Crucible 3 downlink split instead of the 3 Crucible 4 downlink split that Kumrak has. This is an entirely different deck. Leosaur. Wow, both of the decks that I riffed off to make my deck are also here. Aurora and her spores. This is a little different than the. What the heck is this card? A little different than the version I had. So 4 House Forgers, of course, because it's a green deck. 1 Deep Cavern Skillet. We're all going to read this card together. It's an X and a green Hydra, and enters with X plus one counters, and you can cast it from your graveyard, paying 3 and a green, and exiling. Oh, I get it. This is Spore Spawning number 5, but instead of making 13 1/1s, it makes 1 13, which is much worse. Cool. But I guess you could cast it as like a 2 mana 1/1, or even a 1 mana 0/0, if you just wanted to get it into your graveyard. Reaper Blossoms fills that graveyard, as with Fabricated Anomaly. 1 Hardy Rough Rider, just for fun. 4 Aurors. When Arrows in the Web first came out, we saw a lot of Aurora decks that were like rampant to Warden of Tremors with Aurora. This is different. This is like Aurora is the top of the curve. We're just using it to fill our graveyard and fix our draws. 4 Terminals and Abominals, because of course this is a red-green deck. 4 Spore Spawning, I've already said in my deck, this card has impressed me. Even 5 1/1s for 4 mana is like not a bad deal for a flashback card. And sometimes you get like a lot more than that. And it counts Exile. Like Graveyard Hate does not fully stop this. 2 Shigana Manor Burns and 2 Crumbling Tower, and 1 Root Fossil and 1 Archaic Obelisk, just a little bit more ways to fill the graveyard. So this is pretty committed to the graveyard spore spawning plan, even has the deep cavern Cilia, as kind of the backup spore spawning. Really cool deck. Playing 4 Ardent Rise because it's great to get back with a Roar, and also you can get it back with Reaper of Blossoms and kind of get a removal spell off of Reaper of Blossoms. Same thing you can kind of do with Meandering Path. You can get it back and oh yes, yeah. Phase of Faces stops spore spawning from graveyard, but it doesn't stop spore spawning from hand. And with 4 Husk Forger, 4 Reaper of Blossoms, a Roar, Shigana Burns, this deck casts the 6 mana version of spore spawning decently often. Mono base has Frag and Crux. So yeah, because Lizor is committed to the graveyard plan, does need to play like Crux and Frag to deal with the graveyard hate artifacts that everyone is playing. Also, Hardy Rough Rider. This is also a card that I think we saw very little of last month, but this time I've seen it in a bunch of decks. Sweet card to have around. To fight all the aggro decks like myself. Cool. Oh, and Crumbling Tower, by the way. Crumbling Tower, really good of Ardent Rise and Primal Fissure and Aurora and Reaper of Blossoms. Great fit here. Prov is running back that activated ability aggro, now featuring Rosin, clad in gilt. That's a really expensive violin bow, I guess, if it's Rosin clad in gilt. 4 Husk Forgers and 4 Melons as the 1-drops. Just 2 Contest Coordinators, but they get, I imagine, a lot of things. Also 3 Reaper of Blossoms is kind of like does a whole bunch of things, gains life, draws, hits your land drops, fills your graveyard. Redeemer of Hollowed Flesh is an excellent generic threat, as is Fabricated Anomaly. And Ironback Tyke. Melon on its own turns on Ironback Tyke. It's a very easy card to turn on, and it turns all your guys into enormous threats. Yeah, I think we first saw Ironback Tyke in the plush collection decks, but then I think eventually people realized that it's just a great card on its own, and you don't actually need plush collection. And Rosin's interesting. Yeah, it's a 3 mana 3/3 that gets enormous very quickly and discounts your spells and has ward for a very large number. Vengi loves giving creatures ward X, where X is some very large number, like on Stormscaper of Ketaphos. Terminal impacts and 4 encounters, but no abominable avalanches. Instead, we're on 4 encounter density, which can get Sanctum Repression once again, and we're even on Revolt of the Palace. Oh, Prov, yeah, Prov. I've just not played Robin. I mean, she looks good. I showed her in my set review. I just haven't seen her until now. Oh yeah, she also has the second line of tech, which is quite useful. Yeah, and she can play 2 3-drops on turn 4, of which this deck does have a lot of 3-drops. Although she can't discount Tyke or other Rosin. She can only discount Redeemer and Fabricated Anomaly because it's only a generic discount. 22 land deck. Man, y'all play so few lands. I understand it's an aggro deck. But, I just like playing lands. And as Stasis says, 18 total hits for Coco. 18's not that bad. That's what, a third of your deck? You look at 5 cards? Probably hit something. Don't worry about it. Sideboard has Looming Cyhawk, Swift Approach, Sanctuary Repression, Clear the Burning Zone, and Advance of Fire and Faith. love to see the return of Swift Approach. I also felt like there was almost no Swift Approach last month, and now we're seeing it everywhere. Um, oh, and also one drop plus Revolt on turn 4. Yeah, I'm excited to see if Rosin does things. Yeah, I mean, Prov near like got to I think what third place last month with a very similar deck. I forget what card got cut to put in these Rosins. Um, but yeah, it's a kind of a combination of the contest coordinator stuff and the revolt slash foreign encounter stuff and the husk border stuff, all rewarding for playing all these 3 drops. Zangi is on Fish and Ribbit. This is blue black angler, blue black flash, blue black instance. Let's call it blue black instance. So we have Frog of Eternal Gloom as our cheapest creature. So it's kind of like a disruption thing. It's not a tempo thing. Then we also got Anglers that go down later, and Rabora Goliath. Both of these get discounted by all of our instants, including 3 downlink overloads, 3 discerns, 4 overrule thoughts. So removal, card draw, counterspell, removal, card draw, counterspell, outlive usefulness. Oh, cool. Okay, 1 copy in 2 months is not a playable, according to Escape from Limbo. And 3 become 1, which we can never get the bonus on. It's just the draw 3 cards, cast a cheap spell thing. It can cast Frog, I guess. That's the joke. You can cast Frog with it. Kind of the only good hit. There's also 3 Advance of Ruined Whisper, which we can, it's only got 3 defense. You can kill it with a Frog. And we also have Sovius Audi. Haven't seen Sovius Audi in forever. This is a good. Man, my very first deck, the Esper Ephara control back in September of last year. It ran Sovius Audi. I haven't seen him much lately. He's a great guy. I love creating random tokens to remind me of things that might happen on my next turn. Monobase has normal things, but two Chasm of Silent Covenant, which is to be expected, 1 Sanctum of Bleeding Bark, which is not, and 2 Crumbling Ruin. Sanctum of Bleeding Bark, what does this one do? I have not really looked at any of the uncommon ones. It looks at the top 5 cards of your library. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I guess this is a thing. You've got 2 swamps and 4 fissures to get them. Yeah, Zangi's saying Outlive Useless is the answer to Anomaly. You can kill the Anomaly and they sack the token. That's right, you can trade 3 mana for Anomaly and they got to rummage 1 card before you did it. So you're actually still behind in that exchange. What the heck is Stag of the Broken Crown? Oh, it's this thing, the control finisher. Cool. Yeah, I've not seen this card before either. Yeah, I guess you could bring this in against Battle Control and then get it blown up by Wrath. Also, Flutter. Flutter is a card, by the way, that I'm looking back on it, possibly should have been in my Golems deck. Incidental Graveyard Hate plus protect your big creatures. That's really nice in a deck that has big creatures it wants to protect. Rip Golems, by the way. I miss Golems. I'm sure you guys miss Golems too. Destructive Ambition. Right, we had a blue-black deck earlier. They were not on any Destructive Ambition. This card's really good. Yeah, I can't believe this is the first time I've seen Destructive Ambition in a deck list. It's even designed by Pipsqueak, so you know it's a powerful card. 2 more Outlive Usefulness for more Fair Anomaly, and 4 Failed Gateway. Silver Parabellum is putting money where his mouth is with a different fish. So we had Angler we had Rabora Goliath as a fish, but here we have a different fish. It's Feeble Fish, because this is a Seal Shoals deck. I actually helped Silver build this a little. This is Seal Shoals and Welkin Eviction in the same deck, because Seal Shoals wants you to Seal Shoals. That's got a non-mana activate ability. Welkin Eviction, that's got a non-mana activate ability. Yeah, Prov, I know you miss Golems too. It was a deck that was really important to us. It's unfortunate that it's gone. You know what? You can get both of those off of a contest coordinator. And contest coordinator also wants you to play a lot of planes. We got 5 planes and 3 stack Conviviplex, and 2 Soaring Soul Space. and 3 Gilded Core, which you can't get off Conscious Coordinator, but they do discount Welkin Eviction. Um, and 4 Primal Fissure to get planes. So actually, we're getting a lot of planes for this Welkin Eviction. Um, we also have 3 Melons. Great cheap activated ability for our seals. 3 Codename Cicada. Slightly less good, but still usable activated ability for our seals. 4 Fish. Feeble Fish is a really good card, by the way. This card is like, gets out of hand really fast. Because it counts your opponent's turn too, and it's not hard to like crack a Primal Fissure or something on your opponent's turn, activate a Gilded Court on your opponent's turn, get this up to like 3-4 by the time you're sorry 2-3 by the time you're attacking with it, or like 3-4 by the time you're attacking. It's really good. Ukina Aethersong Bathroom. That's the thing you can get Conscious Coordinator and use all your seals. Instead of attacking with your seals, you could turn them into card advantage. That's great. We even have a Darisha to pump our seals. Sorry, that 9 copies of Melon or 9 different decks off on the Melon? 1 Kathy the Carefree, 2 Duel for Runner, and 1 Illustrious Shengfa as hits off Conscious Coordinator that do various useful things. 3 Sanctum Repression, I think people are counting on. Liv was the first one on the board with Sanctum Repression, but I think people are realizing that this card is really, really good, kind of messed up. Sensor Tablet, also a cheap activated ability, and is Staff of Balance. Ooh, Staff of Balance. Love to see it. Yeah, 9 copies of Melon is about the number of copies of Melon I'd expect. This thing is a staple. It's really good. Mono base, as I said, tons of planes and or things that can turn into planes. Sideboard has your normal thing. Denotation Failure! Glad to see someone finally running Denotation Failure. Yeah. It counters small creatures. That it sure does. Unfortunately, I have not seen any Survivors of the New World yet, which is the card this is really brutal against. And Archival Storage is the Graveyard Hate of choice. H-Squid is glazing one of the curators with Lit is insanely better than me. This is white, black, colorless, mid-range Laystone. Okay, mid-range Laystone. Contra Corner. Okay, I see what we're doing. So you know what Contest Coordinator can get? It can get Inklight Dancer. It can get every Planeswalker, including Sinido and Ziv. It can get Laystone of Being. It can get these 6 planes. I guess that's all it can get. So yeah, this is a just like black. Oh, Liz League deck. That's where it's from. I've not been checking the League deck list super extensively. You can tell it's a Lid deck because it's 4 Sanctum Repression. Yep, just good old black-white mid-range with colorless for Ziv. Inklight Dancer is a 2-for-1, Conscious Coordinator 2-for-1, Exorcist can be a 2-for-1, Stratos Sentry is a 2-for-1. Sinido, Cassia, Dutiful Wanderer, and Ziv, especially Ziv, are all 2-for-1s. Cheap Removal Sovereigns, 2 Chronicle Extinction. 4 Laystone. How are we gaining life for more Laystones? Pact Beyond Death, that gains you life. Oh, Sinido, you can Pain Split, gain a bunch of life, make a big token of Laystone. You can gain life off of Inklight Dancer sacks, I guess. Oh, and 4 Opulent Vantage. Right. I remember Liz done this to me a couple times. Turn 1 Opulent Vantage, Laystone, make a 3/3. That still works. It's very annoying. I'm seeing a card in the sideboard I'm very excited about. Leah has brought Spiteful Griefer, Elf Pirate, that gives other creatures -1/-1 if you level it up. Now that'll stick it to those token decks. We also have the normal sideboard stuff of Looming Psyhawk, bunch of extra Planeswalkers to kind of mix up the Planeswalker suite. Duress, of course. Marked Passage. Love the idea of putting in this like extremely life painful card draw spell against control decks. And 3 Faces of the Faceless. Yeah, this looks solid. Solid as heck. Good cards. Ziv remains just an amazing card. Oh yeah, Ziv can also integrate some nice, neat stuff like other planeswalkers, and you can exile a Laystone with Ziv, and then Ziv will start gaining you life. That's hilarious. Okay, if Ziv exiles Pact Beyond Death, not a battle, so is not defeated. But do you get the second ability? Wait a minute. I mean, Ziv does not have four. Ziv has less than four defense on them. Ziv has no defense on them, in fact. So do you get whenever you draw a card, you gain two life? I actually don't know this interaction. Someone in chat is going to tell me in like, approximately 10 seconds. And I'll get back to it when it happens. Well, why is your deck doing this, Platty? Platty, your deck is tall. Your deck is tall and it's black, red. Oh yeah, Ziv gets the 4 defense trigger. That's hilarious. This is black, red, swine. Oh yeah, this is basically the black red mid range decks we had in the last rotation that would bounce like Omen of Deception and Phoenix's Touch, and they would also play like they would also they'd also play like sack stuff. Except we don't have those cards anymore, so instead we're bouncing Pact Beyond Death and Advance of the Umbral Bargain with our Scattering Swine. We got Rooftop Slink to make them discard cards. We got Ignited Soul to make us discard cards. We got Calamity Cat to make us discard even more cards. What we're going to do is that we're going to hit them really hard with Scattering Swine and pick up those things. We're going to hit them with Cash Thrasher too, to recoup all those cards we discarded. Fabricated Anomaly, of course, because it's a red aggro deck. Inner Pupil, continue to pressure their hand. Creation's Combustion. Oh yeah, Creation's Combustion is in fact just Sovereign's Execution, but slightly better if you're black-red. Terminal Impact, of course. Chronicle of Extinction. One of Panic. And then the battle. I like the idea of Scattering Swine plus battles. That's a neat idea. I don't know why your deck list is tall, Platty. Why is it tall? And we can attack these battles pretty effectively with like the haste granters and the haste creatures. Pact Beyond Death has, by the way, continued to impress me, even like with the nerf where you can't instant speed board wipe people. Card is still good. Wish it didn't draw the game with Life Hacker. Yeah, this is like black-red, good cards, mid-range. Good things to Calamity Cat, like Inner People and Scattering Swine. That's pretty scary. Sideboard has normal stuff, Downlink, Overload, Eternal Act, Extra Removal, Duress for hands, Chronicles for everything, Golden Moon Silence for, I don't know, random stuff, and Advance of Fire and Faith. Okay, we're near at the end. I know Doomsday is like the second to last player, which is good because I'm nearing my bedtime and I'm running out of my voice. Okay, there are multiple cards in this deck. I don't know what they do. Doomsday is Chicks on a Bike. Okay, so cycling. Ha! Because there are temperamental chicks and they're cycling because they're on a bicycle. I get it. This is Jund. We are a Jund deck. We have Primal Fissure, but yes, there they are. 3 mountains, but just the end of the list for some reason. Okay, Crisis Averted. Okay, we start with Emberforged Forerunner, which is the 1/1 1/1 haste. Then yes, there's also Stasis. Oh, I should talk about Stasis's deck. I guess if I have to, I'll talk about Stasis's deck. 3 Emberforged Forerunner. It's a 1/1 1/1 haste that dies into a 1/1 that can't block. Okay, we have a Rolliphant, which can acts as a 3/3 if we attack with exactly one other creature. And I guess Emberforged Forerunner and Ignited Soul, which has Menace, are great 1-drops to attack with a Rolliphant alongside. Rolliphant's been in the compendium, I think, since CCR entered the format, and this is the first time I've seen it. Wicked Manifestation gets +1/+1 for each cycling card in our graveyard. We'll get to those later, I guess. Temperamental Chick is an excellent aggro card. Once again, loves to attack alongside a 1-drop. Oh, okay. Vangie coming back with clarification that but Pact Beyond Death does not have whenever you draw a card you gain 2 life. It has as long as there are 4 or fewer defense counters on this permanent, whenever you draw a card you gain 2 life, and that's a static ability, not a triggered ability. It's a static ability that grants a triggered ability. It's like I remember there's something like it's like level up abilities. Actually, it's exactly like level up abilities. I believe if you exile a level up creature that has a triggered ability on its second or third phase, you also don't get those. Where was I? Also, Talent. So this is like an Amity deck. We got like 10 Amity creatures. That's cool. I haven't seen like an Amity deck before. It's a 3-mana 3/3 haste. It can't be blocked by small creatures. And if it attacks with another creature, that creature also can't be blocked with small creatures, which is great for Temperamental Chick because it means it might actually get through. We also have Saboteur's Immolation. I'm sorry? What? We have five, eight. I'm not going to count Wikipedia. 12 cards that die to our own Saboteur's Immolation? What is this doing here? I guess it is cycling. I guess we can discard it to pump our Wicked Manifestation. We can also discard our foreign encounter. That makes a ton of sense. We got all 3 mana or less creatures, and it has cycling. And we also have Judgment of the Station, which has cycling for 1 mana. And Stainstrokes, which also I think makes sense. Okay. Stainstrokes is maybe slightly awkward with Amity cards because you can't do both of those things at the same time. 26 lands, which is, wow, that's a lot of lands for this aggro deck. Okay. This is gonna. This is gonna. I'm excited to see how this goes. This is kind of. This is some cards I definitely could not tell you what Judgment of the Station did before I read this deck. We have Realm of Implosion, makes sense. Damn to Hell. Oh, right. This also counts cycling cards in your graveyard. Makes sense. Fall upon your blade. I guess that sure is a removal spell with cycling. Cool. And Faces of the Faithless. Yeah, makes sense. You'd have the cycling one. Interesting. I guess if you bring in Faces of the Faithless, you're bringing out Stainstrokes. And probably also Emberforce Forerunner, because that also doesn't work. Interesting. Great deck name. Doomsday. You got incredible deck names. Oh god, Tremor, what are you doing? Veto's an okay. Tremor. This might take a moment. Tremor is playing 2 Aethersteel Pouncer, which is like a 1-drop that can 1-time ramp you. 1 of Exorcist of Errors. 4. Oh, this is Goobers. This is Goobers. Goobers. I see. Okay. One, and then Seer of the Aspirants. Once you have 3 Goobers in play and 1 Seer of the Aspirants, that wins the game on the spot. Pensive Caldera can dig through your deck and pay for your instants and sorceries. Mistrid Archivist is an excellent mid-range card. Godslaughter Titan. We're going to be generating 1,000,000 treasures so we can cast for cheap, and then as we sack permanents, we will eventually exile our opponent's entire board. 2 of Veto to protect our Goobers. 1 Discern. 2 Sunwrath Charm to get back a Goober if it dies. Just 2 Ozin's Blessing. Yeah, Ozin's Blessing I think is still a good card. Like, you're getting Sanctum Repression of this. It's still good. It's a lot less good in Goobers and Golems, though, where there's only 1 card you want to go. 1 of Ripple Effect, which I guess, yeah, that makes an extra treasure off Goober. 1 of Get Your Wish. 2 of Thirst for Answers. 1 of Get Your Wish. Wow, tons of 1-drops, but just 1 Get Your Wish. 2 of Thirst for Answers. That makes sense. We got some flashback stuff. Reflected Echo. That's a good way to get more Goobers. Dante's Inferno is the other win condition if God's Letter Titan and Seer of the Aspirants don't come together. Axiomatic Shift. This is how we're going to get our Goober. Now that we don't have Ozin's Blessing. No, Ozin's Blessing doesn't work. It's just 4 mana to get a Goober. And if we have a counter on a creature, like an Aethersteel Pouncer, I guess we could always remove Aethersteel Pouncer count from 1 mana, so that's not like enormously helpful. But 4 mana, we can get a Goober. That's almost like Ozin's Blessing, except for the sorcery and it costs 4 instead of being an instant that costs 3. But I guess it works good enough. Wretched Bargain, draws cards, add mana, triggers Goober. 1 of Research Grant, 1 of Enlightenment. Mana base is literally a 5-color mana base. I'm going to believe you that this works. Sideboard has 1 Mystery Egg, 1. I'm not going to read it. 1 Lorana Loop's End, 1 Veto, 1 Ripple Effect, 2 Get Your Wish, 1 Tyrell Agenda, 1 Killing in the Name of, 2 Bind Life to Steal, 1 Trauma Spike, and 3 Advanced Fire and Faith. This is just like. Good news, Lorana Loop's End is now going to have a play rate greater than 0 on Escape from Limbo. Wow. Yeah, Goober Storm. I saw Goober Storm was dead without Ozin's Blessing, but I guess Axiomatic Shift kind of does the same thing. What a wild Goober Storm deck. Oh, Axiomatic Shift. That's why I have Lurana. But, like, what do we get? Oh, we get God's Letter Titan, I guess? I guess it have 12 counters. I would expect it, like, if we had the 1 Lurana, we'd have, like a giant error or something, so we could actually get it. It's a Goober Storm, Prov. You don't love Goober Storm? And Stasis finally um, doing the Stasis challenge, which is where you try to submit as close to deck lists being due as possible. Never been punished, not once in their life, is the only one on Survivors of the New World. This is white green ramp. White green ramp, kind of mid range. Just kind of white green ramp mid range. We got 10 planes because this is a Welcome Eviction deck. Welcome Eviction and Rejuvenation Session. Okay, this is like Liz deck. It's a lot like Liz deck from last month, actually. Except it has Elron's Visionary for additional ramp. It has Indomitable G Crew for additional. Yeah, I know. Look, Stasis, I understand. Like some of us do not have time to cook. Cook like full lavish meals. Some of us have to cook like meal prep. And we have Sylvia. Yay, Sylvia! Glad to see Sylvia here. Sylvia's a really cool card. I suspect that she is just worse than Illustrious Shengfa, but it's cool to see her. Planned Obsolescence, it's a Stasis deck. And Hopeful Soul Space. Boy, it's wild that Hopeful Soul Space is a meta card. We also have Gilded Cores. That's another way to get more planes. Masksmith, Army Reserve, Survivor of the New World, Dawnhim Herald, cool. Disestablishmentarianism, and Faces of the Faceless, and Plasma Strike. Okay. So yeah, we got a decent spread here. I don't once again, I don't think there were any like huge duplicates. Like we got a bunch of slightly different red green aggro decks. We got a bunch of slightly different white X Welcome Conviction Bounce My Stuff decks. We got one. There's removal in there. There's some aggro. There's a couple control decks. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna quickly go over matchups and say how I feel. Stasis on Liz deck is up against Li on Liz deck. Looks like it's gonna be a grind. Split on Ties is against Wiffle on Battle. Oh boy, this is gonna take a long time, isn't it? This is gonna take a very long time. H Squid is facing up against me, black on Liz, white, black, colorless, mid range, and I'm gonna see if I can generate a very large number of tokens and or run them over. Looks like your standard like aggro-ish mid-range versus control-ish mid-range. Magma on Swablu Seas versus Silver on Seals. Are birds greater than seals? We'll find out. All Who Wanders on red-green aggro versus Tremor on Goober Storm. This just looks like a race. Can All Who Wander kill before Tremor can? All Who Wander does not really have like enormously good ways to interact with the Goobers once they've started going off. So if the Goobers can go off, they can probably do it. Kumrak on Kumrak midrange versus Epid on Epid midrange. It's really going to come down to is the fourth downlink overload the key card, or is the fourth Crucible Burning Sun the key card? This matchup will really decide who the greatest green black midrange player is in this meta. Cat in Tree is on white red aggro, and Platy on black red aggro. This looks like another kind of volatile aggro matchup where whoever's on the play gets a big advantage, and whoever gets to kind of get in the early hits is going to force their opponent onto the back foot. Prav is on Naya aggro versus Kaya on Fork. I think Caillou could have a chance here. Firebolt and Coordinate Shot are decent interaction. Could just if Caillou can get enough time to start doing these powerful things. Panic's also pretty good. Doomsday has a buy for the cool deck name. Crush on Blue-Red Decoys against Ricky on Reanimator. I'm sorry, Crush. PTM is on Solidarity Aggro against Volt Switch on... Ooh, yeah, Volt Switch. I don't see a lot of cheap removal. I guess there's Traumatic Recollection and Final Fate. And Failed Gateway in the sideboard. Hope you draw those Failed Gateways. Zangi's on Blue-Black Tempo against Kilgaris on the Angel deck. Well, this is just going to come down to whether the Angel deck rolls all sevens on the slot machine. Excited to see where this goes. I need to go update Escape from Limbo so it knows what the new playables are. Excited to chat with you all. Slightly smaller, shorter stream. I think that's okay. I know I talk faster than Peacock. Yeah, Zangi and the Agromir being on the play is really nice. Hope once again, nice diverse meta. Glad on all of you for not sharing your secrets of each other. Hope I win another one. I want to win all of the GPs. I'm upset that I didn't win the last one. Good night.